Okay, howdy folks, it's Ann again and working on the Tiki back bar. Here's the hardware. I think I showed you in another video. I discovered the back of this has a patent date of 1871. That's 6 years after the Civil War ended. And we had these, I wasn't sure if I was going to use these. These are the old original hinges. They're all, each of them supposed to look like this, with one of these little balls on each end. One of these is the pin, the hinge pin, and the other one is just the ball attached. But we've got, here's a ball, and here this ball is broken off. That's the original hinge pin, but the ball's missing. This one's missing the whole hinge pin, and a nail was just put in to be used. And this one has the hinge pin, but the ball is missing on the end. And this one was frozen. It was frozen like this. And I thought I couldn't, I tried some things to try to get it to loosen up and unfreeze. And I finally tried this, and this is not some kind of a sponsorship, but it was called Blaster. My son had it for his cars that he works on. And I sprayed it on the hinge, and I put the hinge in a little ice cream pail, and I just sprayed enough of that Blaster on so it was kind of sitting in it, and let it sit for a day. And by golly, the next day I wiggled this hinge pin. It took some wiggling, and you want to go back and forth, like anything that's frozen. Even if you have a frozen bolt, you don't want to try to crank it real hard because you might end up snapping it. So it basically is back and forth and wiggling it and wiggling it. And it came out. It came loose. And then I took some sandpaper and I sanded it all down so it's nice and smooth. So I'm going to use these because, you know, this Tiki room is supposed to be built of junk mostly. So these aren't perfect, but going to be used. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to strip these. These have this this silver paint that was put on them. So I'm going to be stripping everything down, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with it after that. Alright, I decided to try the citrus stripper on them. So I've painted up both sides here. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I really don't want them to be shiny, silver looking like they're brand new, and I don't think metal, especially new looking metal, doesn't look good in a Tiki room. So I got them in this little plant saucer, and I'm just going to, I'm going to cover them over with saran wrap here so that the stripper doesn't dry out. This is kind of an important thing to do when you're using a stripper like citrus stripper. Cover them up so it keeps the moisture in there, and that stuff's going to work. If you leave it out and it's uncovered, especially if you're doing it outside in the summertime, you're going to end up with the air and the sun is going to dry the stripper out. So you want to keep that stripper moist, and it should start lifting all that paint. In fact, it looks like it's lifting it up already. So I'm going to come back in about an hour and see what it's done. Okay, making a template just out of some newspaper and labeling the back and the front here. And we know this is the upside because it's got the tape on it. And then I'm just going to take that out of there. And we'll be able to cut a perfect fitting piece of carpet for this drawer. Okay, I used a yardstick and a white pencil to draw the line, kneeling on the yardstick to get it so it doesn't shift. And I just have to cut it out with the scissors. Okay, and there we have a perfect fit in the drawer. I'm not sure what I'm going to use the drawers for, but It'll be nice and clean and in good shape. And I'm not going to glue this down or anything. I'm just going to leave it, and it'll settle right in there. And I like the way it looks. I also had read that if you want to make your drawers push and pull in, now this has no center in this that the drawer rides on. All it has are these ends. So the drawer sits on this and it sits on this. And I've heard that the best kind of thing to use to make the drawers slide easily is carnauba wax. I've also heard beeswax, but then I also heard that beeswax gets too goopy and sticky. So I think probably my sons, they probably have some carnauba wax for their cars. So I'm going to be putting a little bit on the area where the drawers slide, and that should make them slide on the wood really nicely. Okay, so here's the progress so far on this back bar. And I have to tell you that this thing was in such bad condition when I started on it that every day that I got to work on it, I was asking myself, why am I even bothering doing this? I should just haul it off to the dump. But I kept up with it, and I'm happy at the progress that's being made on it. Let me just show you a few things here. Here are the drawers finished. I left this wood. I didn't want to paint that. I'm going to put some carnauba wax on that and underneath so that the drawers slide in easier, because it's just wood on wood. These are these nice handles. Look at that. They were stripped, and I'm not doing anything else with them. I don't want to gunk them up with paint or anything. And here are the shelves. The shelves were just, everything was just stripped down, all the paint taken off, and I'm leaving them plain wood. And then I have this free carpeting my son gave me. He had been using it when he's restoring a car, and he was using it in the trunk. I have a scrap piece of wood we had sitting around here, and that's going to be cut to be on the bottom, and then I'll use more carpeting. And then I got some nice big wheels. They're over here. Let me just show you that. I got these big heavy-duty wheels. They're going to go on this baby so it can be rolled. I want everything to be mobile, where you can just move it around if you wanted to. Nothing built in against the wall, but it's all going to be, it'll look like it's, built in, but it's not going to be built in to the wall. So everything could be moved. There'll be airflow through behind everything, even behind the wall coverings. So here's the hinges. They were also stripped. I gotta dust this because it's got dust on it from down here working on stuff. But these hinges, they were just given a light coat of black paint with a spray can. And the doors, before I can decoupage these doors, I have to put them on again. I tested them out and put them on. This side was pretty good. The door would open and close pretty well. This side was a little sticky, and the top part of the door needs a little bit of sanding down. So before I start with the fabric on the doors, I want to make sure that they're opening and closing really well. So I feel like I've passed the midpoint here and getting toward the end. And I see also here, I need to go over this a little bit here because this edge needs another coating of paint. The top has this purple sheen to it, but it's a black color, so it does look like the night sky. And the paint was 3 thin coats. It took 3 thin coats to give it good coverage. So this is what it is so far, and when I make the bar is going to have this same color on the top of the bar. And then I had seen an interview with some guys who had a tiki bar out in California. They were some of the pioneers of this tiki rebirth in the 1990s. And they had someone come in and make the edge of the bar out of soup cans, like tomato soup cans that had been spray painted and maybe glittered a little and then clear coated. And I'm going to do the same thing because I think that was really neat and a good way to recycle some soup cans. So that'll be another video, of course. First I'm finishing this. After this I'm going to start on the 2 shelving units that are going to go on both sides of this. So that's next. And it's all going over here. Now this house, say I've kind of inherited everything that's down here, and this whole storage room is going to be cleaned out. And I already got rid of some stuff. There was some old furniture from the 1800s. There's still some there. This stuff's in okay shape, and I'd like to find a home for it with some maybe historical place. Some of it needs to be recovered or refinished, and I don't know if I'll be able to find a home for it or not. But the other stuff was in such bad shape. Some of it was so rotted that you could just knock it apart with your hands. And some of it was also just framework, and the whole rest of it was missing. And so I put it out by the road for free. I actually put it on Craigslist for free, but nobody wanted it. So this room would be where this tiki room will be. That's my hope anyway. And taking out the walls and putting them in and separating it from the workbench area. That's another big project. Well, anyway, I hope you'll join me as I continue to work on this room and reuse a lot of things that have been standing around here. And also it'll be interesting because I have also found some things at thrift stores, and I'll do some videos on that too. So stay tuned. Please click and subscribe. The more viewers we have, the more it helps the animals here. And I thank you for watching. Okay, see you next time when we continue on this back bar cabinet. Bye-bye.